Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. It's a little bit late, but I completely forgot that the EZA LR Vegeta Nappa exchange unit did indeed drop. So we're going to try them out. They're not quite rainbowed, and because I did forget they will come in celebration, their links have barely been touched. Ever. But I do have two dupes in them. We're going to try them out. We are trying them on Ginyu's 200% lead. That is one thing immediately I noticed. They literally only have two 200% leads, which isn't too bad, but when it comes to team building aspects, that is a major flaw with them. Two 200% leads. One's Ginyu, who once upon a time was probably one of the best units in the game, not so much anymore. The other one is Raditz. We don't talk about him. He's kind of the black sheep of Dokkan of how bad he is. And then another thing when it comes to their categories, even their 170 leads aren't great. Inhuman Deeds, doo-doo. Terrifying Conquerors, not bad. There's some good units there, but it's aged a lot. Saiyan Saga, meh. Space Traveling Warriors, just like Terrifying Conquerors, has aged a lot. Pure Saiyans isn't a bad choice either. The only thing with Pure Saiyans is there's a ton of much better options you can use rather than these guys trying to force them on the team. So kind of just like Great 8 Baby, LR Super Baby 2, however you want to name them, they don't really have a place. Like, from their kit, they are definitely a solid EZA. I mean, good starter turn stats. I mean, we do have them fairly well linked up with the Tech Vegeta, who also realistically, you're not running in, you know, the content we have nowadays. I really hope my Ginyu's going to additional as well. But yeah, they don't really have a place. So, like LR Great 8 Baby, decent EZA, solid EZA, especially once you can exchange Vegeta out. Like, he is very good. You know, there's 3 turns of guard, you know, 100% attack and defense on super. 5.98 is not bad. I mean, the real damage is going to come once, again, Vegeta comes out. You know, the base, we'll call it the base form, like the Nappa portion of the kit, it's okay. The Vegeta part, pretty good. But as I said, like LR Super Baby 2, like LR Great 8 Baby, it's a decent EZA, it's a very solid EZA, but there's nowhere to run them. Like, Baby doesn't have any teams, these guys don't have any teams, a lot of them are just, they're not good enough anymore. The units you link these guys with, again, you're not running LR Great 8 Vegeta, you kind of run out of options pretty quickly to like fairly decently link them up. And on top of that, if you were to run them regardless, even without a 200% lead, I said, where are you realistically running them? Because you're not putting on Inhuman Deeds, you're not putting them on Space Traveling Warriors, you're not using them on Saiyan Saga, and you're not running the Terrifying Conquerors team either. The only category you could realistically run these guys on, like a decent category, is Pure Saiyans. And Pure Saiyans has far too many good units. Like, if I quickly just pull it up in front of myself right now, they have far too many good units for them to even have a place, unless you just forcibly use them. You know, just looking at these, you've got Godku, maybe he's getting a bit of slack on JP right now, still a good unit. Recently, that strength base Kale that EZA'd, very good. There's even the likes of Full Power Stray 4 Goku, there's the Worldwide Vegito, there's, you know, the Year 8 units, there's Kai Goku, there's Birdku, who still has some uses. Year 7s have aged quite a bit, but if you really wanted to, they could actually have some uses. Who else have we got in here? We've got the Year 6s, they're going to get EZAs during the 9th anniversary, and they become like 2 of the best units in the game again. They could go on the team. LR Kelly Khalifa are probably much better options as well, especially with the recent Universe 6 EZAs and Dokkan Fest KO on top of that. There are far too many good options to go on a Pure Saiyans team if you were realistically going to run that as a 170 lead to put them on. There are far too many good options ahead of them for team building. So just like LR Great 8 Baby, decent EZA, solid, or in at least Vegeta and Nappa's case, the Nappa portion's okay. The Vegeta portion's actually really, really good. They don't have a place. There's nowhere to use them. There's nowhere to fit them in. That doesn't mean they're bad. It's just category-wise, it's not looking good for them. On 18 key, of course, they are raising your attack and defense by 100% and 50% attack and defense on 12 key, which that does carry over into Jeets. Start of turn, Nappa's getting key +2, attack and defense +178, then key +5 and launches an additional attack. There's a 50% chance of becoming a super attack when HP is 78% or more, which is also very nice, considering, you know, you're doing 100% attack and defense, then you get an extra 50 if you got any dupes in or skill orbs on. That could be 3 super attacks altogether, which is decent damage, but mainly you're getting a ton of extra defense on top of that, considering Nappa doesn't have damage reduction, doesn't have guard, doesn't have dodge, unless of course you give him some, which I did. And this is his active skill, which would be a massive waste to use now, but his active skill, I actually like his active skill, or their active skill. You can use it from turn 3, which is pretty good. And when you use his active skill, you lose 50% attack, which isn't great, but I mean, as we've seen, even fairly like linked up, you know, you're not doing too much damage as it is. As I said, that mainly comes from when you then switch out into Jeets. But you have guaranteed dodge for 1 turn, which, I mean, we've all seen how crucial and how useful dodge can be in the current meta, the 9th anniversary, you know, difficult content meta as well. Just having 1 full turn of guaranteed dodge is nice. It's very nice. So I actually don't mind their active skill too bad. Yeah, you lose out on some damage, but at this point, if you were going to use it, you know, while you still have Nappa out, he's not doing that much damage anyway. So to have guaranteed dodge instead with how much damage as some of these enemies are doing, I actually quite like it. Nappa's then getting an additional attack plus 78% within the same turn after evading an attack, which obviously this unit doesn't have. I'm gonna have to pop a Whis, man, because it's just our second rotation's a mess. Obviously, we want Raccoon Goldo with Ginyu. But of course, Nappa doesn't have any built-in dodge, which is why on my dupe system, they have a little bit of dodge. Only a little bit. I think it's like 9 dodge from like Potential System and Skill Orbs. Just to kind of give him that bit extra defensively, but then also kind of help him out in his passive. You can obviously tie that in with his active skill. You pop his active skill, put him in slot 1. You can get that extra 78% attack. But then again, you have to remember you do lose 50% for using the active skill. But at least with, you know, dodge, you can kind of couple it together, even though you would have to put them and risk them having Nappa in slot 1. But I do have a little bit of dodge on just for that, and to give him a little bit of extra defensive coverage. It would have been nice. Like, I know they've done that with a few units recently, but they mainly do the whole, like, you know, gain an extra attack and defense from dodge on int units, because naturally they have 5 dodge. Having it on a unit that isn't an int unit and doesn't have built-in dodge, it would have been nice if they gave Nappa even, like, 30% dodge, just to kind of tie that in, if that makes sense. But that's me. I personally would have preferred this unit to have a little bit of dodge built in, even as I said, if it was as low as 30%. But we are waiting for the exchange, which the exchange can only happen once your HP is at 50% or less, starting from the 4th turn. This is another thing I have a small gripe with, which I would have preferred if it was basically from the 4th turn and 4th turn alone. Like, the 4th turn condition isn't too bad. We've got our guaranteed dodge now, by the way, as well, which we are really struggling to get 18 key supers off. Like, really struggling. But it is what it is. But yeah, I would have preferred dodge, a little bit of dodge chance built in. I would have preferred if the exchange condition didn't also have a HP condition tied with it, along with being the 4th turn. I said the 4th turn is good. Don't mind that at all. Kind of fits the content we have now on Global. Definitely fits the content that's coming for the 9th anniversary. Not that you're really going to use this Vegeta and Nappa unit in that content, because they're not that good enough for it. They're not built for it. But it's kind of annoying they have both, because not only do you have to basically wait for it 50% as well, you have to use like quite a bit of HP, if we're being completely real. And that stun kind of stops us from doing that. But at least with the active skill, as I said, just having guaranteed dodge like that, I'm a big fan of that. Like, we had a super attack coming our way, bang, dodged it, guaranteed, no problem. Nappa also gets 78% attack and defense at the start of turn per existing enemy, so this unit does have more use, which is, you know, within other realms of Dokkan as well, which is for SBR and ESBR. This unit's pretty good for that as well. They may not actually. Does Nappa have an AoE? Yeah, the 12 keys in AoE. I mean, it's actually, as you can see right now, it's a little bit of a struggle to get an 18 key super off. So along with the 12 key AoE, the extra 78% attack and defense per existing enemy, Nappa would do pretty well in SBR and ESBR, so he's a decent addition to bring to any Inhuman Deeds, Space Traveling Warriors, Saiyan Saga, Terrifying Conquerors, or even potentially Pure Saiyans category SBR or ESBR stage. And then he does get an additional key +1 with each final blow delivered, up to 5. I mean, realistically, how many times are you going to get 5 final blows? Again, SBR, ESBR, where that comes in. And I don't really mind him having key attached to the final blow, because For example, EZA Rose had attack and defense, and that are tied to the final blow mechanic, which if there's something a unit really needs attached to the whole final blow condition, it really annoys me. Like, it really annoys me because I'm like, this unit needs that extra, like Rose needed the extra attack and defense to help him out in harder content. Don't get me wrong, the key would be nice. I don't think it's needed. Like, I don't think it's a necessity for this unit to like work really well. We haven't got too many 18 key supers, but it's not like a detriment to this unit as a whole if he doesn't get the final blows. And again, I think that's pretty much tied around SBR and ESBR anyway, considering it is up to 5. So, you know, considering how many enemies you're facing in there, we're gonna die right now, which is really annoying. So we're gonna have to rerun it and try and get Jeets out when we come back. Yeah, we're dead. We're gonna have to rerun it.
Vegeta! I have no use for Saiyans that can't move! Die! All right, who's next?
All right, we're back and we got my boy Jeets out, and they're actually quite well linked up. We've also got a Whis active, not that we kind of need it now. We're only missing Brutal Beatdown and Prodigies. We've got a 715k attack stat before we even super and a 377k defense stat. Jeets now has 3 turns of guard. You'd still much prefer to have him in slot 2 though, because you're still getting that 100% attack and defense on super. Now this is what I'm talking about. 10.8 mil attack stat, kind of what we're used to now in Dokkan. Yeah, you're getting that 100% attack and defense on super. Then you have the guard, along with potentially hitting an additional super and getting an extra 50% attack and defense. You definitely want him in slot 2. The only thing, as I said, and I've been saying with the whole, you know, team building aspect, all of those kind of things, and where you're going to be running them, the categories you're going to be running on, like, they don't really have a place. They also don't, he also doesn't really have a slot 1 unit at this point. Like, you're not going to be using Grade 8 Vegeta realistically. Now, how much damage is this going to do? Okay, we're good. Recovers 50% HP once only, which is good, which is really nice. You get, you know, half your health back, considering you had to lose half your health to get Jeets out. Starts the turn with key +4, attack and defense +200%. Now you won't be struggling to get 18 key supers. He then gains an additional 100% attack and defense when HP is 50% or more. Guards all attack for 3 turns. Gains an additional key +3 and attack and defense +180 when facing 1 enemy, which we are. Gains an additional key +3 and attack and defense +180 when attacking superclass enemies, which currently are on global. Aside from SBR and ESBR, which realistically, would you even get Jeets exchanged into? Like, would you even get him exchanged? Would you even get him out at that point? Probably not. Currently, there's no superclass enemies that are that difficult on global until the 9th anniversary content, but realistically, you're not going to be bringing these guys into that. He then gains key +3 and attacks become effective against all types when key is 18 or more. And then he performs a critical hit when key is 24. Guaranteed crit at 24 key, which is very, very nice. So as you can see, getting key 24, if you went into, right, if you went into 9th anniversary content, which again, realistically, you're not going to be bringing these guys into, especially with the categories you're bringing them on. If you went into 9th anniversary content, you would pretty much get all of the extra key +3. Because you would easily get 18 key, there's key +3. You're facing a superclass enemy, that's then key +3, which takes it to key +6. And then you'll be facing 1 enemy, which is an extra key +3, along with the key +4 he starts with. So getting that key to 24 to get that guaranteed crit would actually be really easy to do in the 9th anniversary content for this Vegeta and Nappa unit. Just, you're not bringing them there. But Jeets is definitely like the meat and potatoes of this unit. As I said, you know, we've got 3 turns of guard, you're still getting 100% attack and defense on 18 key, 50% attack and defense on 12. He doesn't have any additionals this time around. So that's when the potential system's really going to have to kick in. As you can see, the damage really ramps up. So, you know, he's going to have a decent amount of defense, especially once he super attacks. And if you get an additional with 3 turns of guard, he can do a decent amount of damage. As long as you get the key to 24, he's got guaranteed crit. But the way I built him, there's a little bit of dodge in there as well once that guard does wear off. So as I said, this EZA as a whole is solid. As I said, just like LR Grade 8 baby, very solid EZA. It doesn't matter, we've got to see what we needed to see. Very, very solid EZA. The only thing is there's just nowhere to run them. There's nowhere to run this Vegeta Nappa unit. There is nowhere to run them. The categories aren't good enough anymore. The EZA itself is solid. You know, I think once the 9th anniversary hits, the Nappa portion of it is a little bit to be desired. Vegeta's still pretty good, even though he will have aged by that point. But there's just nowhere to use this unit. So another solid EZA with no place for them to go. But you can let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care. Have a good rest of your day. And post.